and welcome. We are Cats and Camo, here today with our Jimenex Arms J9.
The J9 is, conveniently enough, a 9mm. It's a double stack, holds 12 rounds in the magazine, so it has total capacity of 12 plus 1, weighs in at 30 ounces even.
The barrel length of this gun comes out to 3.75 inches, bringing the total length of the gun to 6.625 inches. The width of the gun is 1.25 inches, and the height comes out to 4.75 inches. Well, now that we've gotten the basic specs out of the way, Dan over here is going to show us how to disassemble and reassemble this gun.
Some assembly required. It's time to take the Jimenex Arms apart. The J9. A little bit different than most modern firearms. Alright, we're going to pick it up. First thing we're going to do, even though the loaded chamber indicator, you can't see anything, we're going to check. We're going to push this back and look, make sure there's nothing in the chamber. And that means our gun is unloaded. Magazine release button is here on the side. We're going to push it. Set the magazine aside. Now, this one comes apart a little differently. What we're going to do is we're going to push the slide back. And if you look, kind of hard to see because it's the same color. There's a button right here on the back of the frame that we're going to push in. That's going to release the slide, so when we push it back, we'll push the button in, lift up, and slide the whole assembly forwards. Okay? So, push back, push the button in, and then bring it forwards carefully because that spring inside is not attached to anything. The barrel is actually mounted to the frame, so it's not going to go anywhere. Makes it a little bit easier for assembly and disassembly, and a little bit more complicated for fixing it. But we're going to set that aside. And then we're just going to take, the only thing inside is the spring and a really modified guide rod and a noose, a loop, that when we put this back together, the barrel is going to go through that. But those are the parts to your J9. Let's put it back together. Goes back on. This actually fits, if you look in the frame. Pardon me, I'm going to point the barrel at you. There's a hole there. The spring goes in that, underneath the barrel. You don't need to compress it down yet. It won't work very well. We're going to put this in and get it started. Not at that big an angle. We're going to turn it this way. Slide it in. Push the button again. Bring it all the way back. Until it fits over the top. It takes a little bit of pressure to make it work. Obviously, you saw me struggle and trying to just use my fingers. But it does line up well as long as you don't over tilt and try to go to an extreme an angle. Once you get it back on, we're going to rock the slide several times, make sure the action is correct. Put the magazine back in. You can see this shows that the striker is engaged, which means it's a live trigger. So even though we just put it back together, I'm going to double check. There you go. The Jimenex Arms J9.
Okay, so I gotta ask, what's with this hole at the back? This
The
just
hole at
seems
the back,
weird.
It's the striker indicator. If it's just a hole like that, it means the trigger is in essence what we call a dead trigger, and it won't fire.
Oh.
But if the striker is loaded where it's ready to hit and shoot the gun, there will be an orange tab sticking out on the back.
So if there's a bullet in here, there'll be a red tab.
Not a bullet, if the striker is engaged.
Oh.
This is more complicated. Jimenex Arms made this gun, they modified it so you could tell a lot of things. There's actually a little window right there on the top of the slide that you can see if there's a bullet in the chamber. So if there is a round in there, you can see the round, and if it's ready to fire, the little orange striker will be showing. And both of those things need to be visible for the gun to actually go off. And there's a sad story behind that. The reason why there's so many safety features on this gun, including an external manual safety, is the company used to be known as Brico Jennings. It originally started in California, and there was a lawsuit because someone was cleaning the gun, it fired and went off, and someone was killed. And so when we talk about always check the chamber, always, 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 because tragic things can happen. And this company was actually sued and went bankrupt. And the foreman of the company bought the rights and moved the company to Nevada and reopened using his last name, Jimenez. Kind of sad.
Very
I mean,
sad.
okay, it's a lot sad. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace the sad music with happy music and go out on the range and shoot this gun.
All right, everyone, we are here on the range with our Jimenex Arms J9.
We're going to make Allie shoot first. She's going to do 5 rounds with the J9 into the alien torso at 7 yards. Then she's going to do a magazine change, probably throw the magazine on the ground because that's what you do when you're done with things. It is with firearms. You reload, and then she's going to do 5 rounds at 12 yards at the alien torso. Miss Allie, the J9.
Right.
Loaded, not chambered.
That is heavy.
It is heavy. Stable,
Not chambered?
not chambered. Low right.
Oh, that's got a bad kick.
Really?
Oh man, that hurt.
Okay. Sorry, it shouldn't.
I couldn't hold it.
Same thing, unpleasant?
Very unpleasant. Where is it? It's going low.
You're
too.
low, yes. Low and slightly right.
Okay, that was a jerk.
You called me what?
I said this is a jerk.
There you go. One more. Nice.
Okay.
And now mag change. I'll just take that one for you.
Is it this button?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Maybe. Halfway. Maybe the wrong way.
You shot him in the throat. Hit him in the shoulder. Was that 5 already?
Yeah. I wanted to get this over with. That was
Assuming that was not
painful.
pleasant for you.
No.
Huh. Who would have thought that a heavy 9mm would be uncomfortable to shoot still?
Yeah.
Well, let me dance with it. Okay, it's my turn to punch paper with the Jimenex Arms, the J9. We're going to do 5 rounds. We'll do 3 in the head and then attempt to double tap low. We'll do a magazine change and then do a high-low combination and then pivot and put 3 in the head at 12 yards with this. The Jimenex Arms J9. Going hot.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and if you enjoyed this video, point those crosshairs at the like button down below, and make sure to stay tuned for part 2, coming later this week. See you then.